And good morning, everyone. It is Wednesdays Live with Cherry, and today is a deep dive day. So welcome, everyone. Welcome, Cherry.
Hello, everybody, and glad you could make it here with us today. I love that deep dive. Now if it was in a warm ocean. We had snow yesterday, didn't we, Nancy?
We did. And tell us about Mr. Flint and his first experience with snow.
Oh, my gosh. I opened the door. It's like 5:30, 5:45, and we have about an inch and a half to 2 inches on the ground. And my little min pin, Flint, has never seen snow. And he started to head out, and then his feet hit that snow. And you could look at it and just see this, what the heck? You look on his face, and then it's nose down in it. And he was snuffling through it. And all day, as long as it lasted, it melted off a little bit later, is he'd go outside, nose down, then he was eating it like it was, a chocolate sundae or something. And had so much fun. He'd play with it, and it was so fun to watch. Now, Paisley, on the other hand, I was telling Nancy, she's crippled. So her back end doesn't lift up off the ground, and she's looking at me like, why are you torturing me like this? What is the problem here? And I kind of let her scooch along in it and clean some of her hair. And yeah, she didn't think I was being very nice. And she wanted out of it as soon as possible. Yeah.
And so she got her wish because our snow's all gone.
I know, but they are saying we can get more. This whole month's supposed to be crazy cold. Yeah, we went all winter long being in not a tropical paradise, but it was pretty tropical for here. And now it's going to blast us.
Well, it's happening to everybody else, so we might as well get ours.
Well, that's it. And our blasting us isn't hitting, wind chill factor of 50 or 60 below.
Right.
It's like a little dusting of snow, and we may get some ice, but it's nothing like what the East Coast, Midwest got.
Yeah.
So I feel blessed over that. Well, we have a holiday coming up this month.
We do indeed. Valentine's Day's next week.
Last year at this time, Vicki Pruitt and I were getting ready to do a retreat over on the Big Island. We were on the Big Island for the holiday and doing self-love. That was, because Vicki and I hadn't thought about when we set this up that Valentine's Day was right there. But it was perfect, absolutely perfect.
Well, let me welcome people before we get started on our loving ourselves and each other, our love fest. So welcome everyone. We've got Michelle and Gay Wynn, love, hugs and blessings, and Sandra and Christine, love the snow, bring it on. Well, I like it mostly the way we've got it right now with the backdrop. And hi Liz, good to see you. Nancy is here, good morning, and Teresa. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yes.
So love, huh? We want to talk about some love, maybe some relationship stuff.
Love. No, I don't sing. There's a reason for that. That's it. It's because people ask me all the time about bringing in a life partner, about their own relationship they're in. And I'm walking that journey also. So one of the things that I talk to people about is the self-love first. To attract in somebody who's loving, who sees your perfection, who is compassionate and giving, it's getting yourself to that point for yourself first. We're energetic beings, and it's resonating to that energy. And one of the things I tell people who are single is, one, make out a list of what you're looking for in a life partner. List it. He's between, say, 5'10" and 6'2". He's congenial. He loves talking with you. He's romantic. He holds a job. You put it in there.
He's not
finding,
married.
not married, he's single, looking for you, all of these things that, your perfect mate. And then it is a matter of also becoming not inflexible. What you're doing is putting it out there what you're looking for. And some people become so rigid that this person may come in and he's missing a few, or it seems like they're not up, a few of the qualities, or they're not upfront with those qualities. That's when you become too attached to that list. And it's looking at this attraction you have and him matching, or her, because I do know we have men out there and they're going through the same thing, that he or she matches the majority of the, of your list. I started to say requirements, but that doesn't sound so hot. It's like, okay, I've got this job application and you've got to meet all of the requirements. Well, you go into that, you're not going to attract anybody because you're using it as a wall to block you. And so it's know what you want and not just attracting in any old thing. But going back to the key here, loving yourself first. And I can feel this collective breath holding. Let's release that breath, okay? In our society, we're not taught to place ourselves first, to love ourselves first, to even acknowledge ourselves in many cases. Well, if you never do, then guess what? You're not going to bring in somebody who does. If you're looking at yourself and seeing all of what you consider your pitfalls, your defects, all of this, feeling as if you're not good enough, you're not lovable, you're going to bring in somebody who actually mirrors that right back at you. And so it's starting with those first steps first. Those are the most important steps.
So what kinds of steps can people take to do a little bit of work around loving themselves? And isn't it a bit selfish and egotistical?
That's our training. Gosh, if we're thinking of ourselves, we're being selfish. If we're honoring the way we look or something we do, well, we're egotistical. There's a balance in that. There are those that are what we consider narcissistic, and that's because there's no self-esteem. That's where that comes in and plays. Yet it is looking in the mirror and saying, wow, you're beautiful, or honoring your ability to love and appreciate you, and that love and appreciation goes out into the world. Meditate on your qualities, your positive qualities. Look at yourself as your own best friend. If you were looking at, take yourself and look in the mirror and separate a little bit and act as if you're talking to your best friend and looking at this person. What would you tell her or him about themselves? What's the best feature you see? How is it they hold themselves? What is their, what makes them up? What do you appreciate about them? And then hold that. Don't negate it. So many times we'll say, well, I really do have beautiful eyes. But I don't know about this mole over here, or gosh, my hair doesn't, so we're going to look at it for a brief second and then find the defects. And instead of doing this, I tell people right now it is time to become very selfish in many areas of our life so that we become more selfless. I'm going to ask to ground a little bit because the words are kind of blending together, and that happens when I'm disconnected a little, so I'm going to just ground. What is wrong with loving the self? Aren't you of the divine? Aren't you beautiful in every aspect? Aren't you wise beyond all of the aspects of life, this wisdom that's come with you? If it isn't honored within you, it cannot be honored outside of you. If you feel you're imperfect and defective, he or she cannot see you, for you're hiding behind a cloud, hiding in a shadow, hiding. We always see your divinity. We always see your perfection. We see the brilliance and the beauty of you. It is time for you to look inside and do the same. Mirror work, of course it is mirror work. It is acknowledging what you do throughout your day, the giving and the loving of all others, and allow that to come back to you. Instead of negating it as someone gives you a compliment, it is to say thank you. For we see your beauty, it is time you see the beauty of you also. Well, now I know why my words were moving. It's like apparently they wanted to come in and give you a message. And that's it. Self-love. Anything that gives back to you in a positive way. Acknowledging the goodness of who you are without negating it.
You know, I saw an exercise around self-love, and it was writing yourself a letter.
Oh, I like that.
Writing a letter of loving yourself as the letter you would love to get.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's perfect.
You're writing it from yourself, your deep inner self, your higher self, however you want to call that, but and the letter that you want to get, and then read it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And
let it come into you. You know, not just read it, it's let that information come in and feel it. When we're doing retreats, I do a couple of different exercises on self-love. And it'll show how people become uncomfortable receiving it or hearing it, and how they negate it. And all of these little aspects come up that people are not aware of. So now I'm going to move into another aspect of this, because this is about you also, is a lot of people go, well, if he or she is here, I'll feel happier. I'll be more complete. You know, he or she will make my life worthwhile. Yeah, really, that's not a truth. And again, you're complete as you are. You may thrive in this life whether anyone is with you or not. You may enjoy the adventure of this life, whether anybody is with you or not. And the more that you do that, and the more that you interact and be in your own life, when you attract in this person, they're going to fit into that also. Nobody makes you. You're already complete. And this takes you completely out of your power, and you're handing it off. You're not claiming yourself. So when you're thinking of, I'm going to bring this person in, and then I will be happy. I will feel myself. You're setting yourself up. And by golly, can't you be happy now? Can't you be complete now? And just think what that adds to the world when you acknowledge that. So I'm feeling some questions around this one. So there's people that are, first of all, anything that's said is not pointing a finger at any one person. You know, anywhere, any of these things that I'm saying, and some of them, all of these things I'm saying, I have already walked through. And I give myself the same information I send outside of myself. And, you know, it never judge. Just take the information in. Because what I'm feeling is, and that's one of the things to remember, is when we're out here and we're connected like this, the energy is coming in as much as it's going out from me. Is many people starting to judge themselves, feeling shame, and they're starting to shut down. No, we're in the human condition. Just know this has been part of the journey. And now we're ready to honor ourselves and say, hold it. I'm complete already, and this life's an adventure, and I enjoy it. It'd be really great to have somebody walk it with me, and in time, or when the divine time, when I'm ready, that person will be there. So
that person is getting ready to be with you, just like you're getting ready to be with them.
Exactly. You know, and then there's another thing to look at is, a lot of people I talk to hold on to the past. They'll say, I really want this person in my life. I want a relationship. But all of my relationships, you notice I'm exaggerating, they're mean to me. They cheat on me. They do this. They do that. I can't trust them. I don't trust them. Okay. Guess what you just are bringing into the next relationship? This is not very lovey-dovey for Valentine's Day. This is kind of in your face, but sometimes we have to be and get that information that's in our face. If we want to break a pattern, it's actually step in and look at it, acknowledge you're using it, and then look at why. Why? How is it serving you? And go ahead and own it. Because you don't want to take that old energy into a new relationship. You're just continuing a cycle. You don't want to be out of your power. And there's nothing saying you have to spend a life alone or always suffering within a relationship. And, a lot of people will say, well, I've already done that. Well, yeah, you have. And then you quit. When it didn't work, you quit. Pick me. I've done that. Gosh, it didn't happen right away, so I've already done it and it didn't work. I have done this myself. And so it's knowing, okay, you're making changes and your energy is subtly changing also. And it may not come in within the first 5 minutes, the first day, the first week, the first month. It says stick with it. Because again, like Nancy said, this person's going through the same thing. And you're clearing out old baggage that allows a new and different relationship in.
So what we put out energetically is what we attract.
Exactly. And what we believe about ourselves is what we bring in as mirrors.
Or what we believe we deserve.
Oh my gosh, yes. Well, and here's one of the things I went through. Like I said, there's no information I give you that I don't sit with myself. Is many of you know my husband died and he had cancer, and it was just the most devastating thing to go through, the disease and then the loss. And so after a while, I'm kind of ready to get out there. And I would attract somebody in with this hand, like come, but push away with this hand. So nobody could really get that close. And I had to look at the why of this. It wasn't going to change until I looked at it. And what I saw was this, my emotions, my fear of the idea of having a relationship and him getting sick again and dying. You have that much fear up, that much worry up, I couldn't attract anybody in because my fear was stronger than my ability to open up to new. So you see, when I'm talking about this stuff, I'm talking about things I look at within my own life. And so it's just looking at the ways we block, how it serves us. Because it is serving us whether we know it or not or are willing to admit it. It's protecting. Gosh, I was hurt in this last relationship, and there's some energy. I just thought of one particular person who wrote a message on the Facebook page, and the throat chakra shut down and the heart chakra shut down, thinking of another. I already went through this. So it's looking at, okay, that was the relationship or relationships then. In the past, where have you grown? What have you learned? And then allow that to open your heart, open your throat chakra, and know it's different. And so it's also knowing nobody else is going to send them to you. They may help send them, but for the most part, you're attracting each other. And so when it doesn't come to us when we think it should, and we say, oh, okay, send them in, come on, send them in, we're stepping out of our power again, saying, we failed, I failed, so I've got to have somebody else do this job. And then when it doesn't work there, well, then I'm going to spend the rest of my life alone. No, It's a matter of saying, hold it. I'm just going to go a little deeper, see where I'm protecting myself and what it is I really want in my life, what it is my belief systems are about life, and move through the process of negating and discarding or letting go of the old belief systems that aren't supporting who you are today. So.
And we've got a question from Teresa about what if I let this person in and he will take away from me, stifle my essence.
Oh my goodness. See, there's a belief system, there's a fear. And this was an experience. Oh my gosh. Okay. And Teresa, I'm going to focus on Teresa in particular because it also matches up with energy that lives within my life and other people's life. It's looking back on what we experienced earlier in lifetime in our own families and remembering that we do pick up energetically, intuitively, what's going on around us, whether it's spoken or unspoken, between our parents, or people in our environment, and that sort of thing. Nobody can take your essence away from you. Nobody can diminish your light. That's a belief system. That's a stepping out of your power due to the belief system. Your light is always bright. The essence of you is beyond the perceptions and conceptions of this particular world. It cannot be extinguished. If you believe that the relationship will take from you, and that is the strongest of beliefs, you will attract in over and over again relationships that do. So look back and see where that message came to you, that to have a partner in this life, you must give up the self. Feel that within the self, and allow yourself then to negate that belief system. Replace it. The partner that is in my life sees my light. The partner in my life, I see his light. We come together in love and we respect and honor each in this relationship. We share the joys, we share the happiness, we share the adventure of life. It is an equal pairing. Let that become the strongest message, for it is only the belief system that lives within the fear body. It is not a truth that as another comes in, you lose the beingness of you. So that's what it is, Teresa. It isn't a truth. That is a belief. It'd be really good for anybody who's going through this to go back and journal, And I've had people say, oh, I've done all of that. I've journaled. Well, go through the next layer. Be willing to rip the scab off the wound and look into it. It's never going to heal until you get to the base of it. And the base of it started with a belief, and that belief has grown and grown and grown. And as you get to it and heal that and healing it is only moving and releasing the energy. The energy has to be charged with the belief to be here in this world. If the charge is taken out, then guess what? That belief system's gone. It can't create in your life. So look at your past experiences. Look at what's the same in each of them. And then look at, ask questions like, where did this begin? When was the last time? What were my parents' relationship? What about those around? What messages did I have over and over and over again? I got the message as you always have to keep your guard up in a relationship. You can't trust it because it's never going to last. You're not good enough. You don't deserve it. So guess what I created for the first portion of my life? Guess what I attracted in? I wasn't good enough. I couldn't trust it. It wasn't going to last, and it didn't. And they only want to use you. You have to prove you deserve love. You got to earn the love, and you'll never make it. That was my theme. Change the theme, change the messages, and life changes.
And I want to dig into the belief system, because that sounds like a big thing. And really what it is, it's the thoughts that we keep telling ourselves.
Yeah.
We need to be aware and start counteracting, contradicting the thoughts that we're telling ourselves.
Well, that's it. In the newsletter, it's not really a newsletter. It's a little bit of information, email that I send out. And I actually posted this week's on the Facebook. And it deals with, not a love belief, but a belief system that I had. And it's so looking at this because, it doesn't really matter which one it is. When we keep affirming it and we keep reinforcing it, we hold it to us. And it is belief systems. And that's what we're moving through. We're moving through all of the fear-based belief systems, and that's opening us up. Okay, guys, you're going to help me talk? It's like, I think I had about some wine or something before this show. I'm having trouble getting the words out, which I did not. Just saying, it's too early in the morning. Anyway, it's being willing to look at the belief systems. We're tearing them apart and tearing them down and going to the essence of who we are. And that essence is love. And that's what tracks in our perfect life partners. Look at the deserving issue. So many people, I just hit on a key thing is I don't deserve love or have to prove I'm worthy of love. And it's understanding you're perfect as you are. And of course, love is meant to be in your life. And you deserve it. And you don't have to earn it. You don't have to earn love. When you're loving yourself, you automatically give to you what's absolutely perfect. And it's coming from the heart, not the ego. So when another person steps into your life, you're loving them as they are. It's not giving it to them so that you'll get something back. It's just given. Notice the difference in the area, the energy of that. It's just given. And that's what holds things together.
So we have a really long comment from Juliana. She has a Grinch theory. She feels has served her well. Leap, love, and realize that any pain will crack your heart open wider to allow for even more love exchange. I did that willingly, and the amazing reality is that I was finally ready to call a partner to me who accepts and loves me, all of me, unconditionally, because I reclaimed all the parts of me that I'd stuffed under the rug. Grinch heart works.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. That is, and it isn't necessarily a painful step. Yet you're going to go through your discomfort. You're going to feel uncomfortable, and for one person it might last a second, and somebody else it might last a month, and some people will hold on to it for a year. It's okay. I work at home. And so for me to meet somebody, because like I tell my clients, UPS is not dropping him off at my doorstep. I did put in an order, checked off the perfect man, by golly, it hasn't got here. Anyway, so that means online. And I tend to, I was attracting guys that were this and were that, all up here, businessmen, educated. And I've attracted this sort of person in my life before. And then came in the good old boy. All of a sudden, there's one good old boy after the other good old boy. And I'm sitting there and I'm asking my group, it's like, what's going on here? I'm making changes in my life. And all of a sudden I hear this. That's where you're comfortable. That's who you know how to react and act to and respond to. The others make you nervous. They make you grow. And look at the areas you don't feel good enough. So look at this. I learned so much about myself on this online dating. I've learned how much I have grown of what I would have put up with. And I say the words put up with when I was younger because I didn't believe I deserved love. So I would have brought this person in, and now it's like, no. That doesn't suit me. And, oh no, I've grown past that. Oh my, look at this. Isn't this interesting? And then slide back into the comfort level. Be willing to be uncomfortable. That's in all areas of your life. You want change, get uncomfortable. So, I know Nancy's over there going, yeah, well, it's true. Otherwise you stay in the comfortable discomfort of everything you do not want, because it's how you know to respond. It's what you know, and you're nervous about finding out about something else.
And Juliana is agreeing with you about our core beliefs can hold us hostage until we clear them.
And by the way, I happen to perform the marriage for Juliana and her love, and it is a beautiful partnership relationship. And I love the way Juliana manifests in her own life. It is good. I take lessons. We're all growing.
So let's talk about the someone, I can't remember who it was, but wrote in about a relationship they'd had, back in high school, and this person came back into their life, and
this over the last, I'd say 15 years, I have heard that over and over again, and it even happened in my life. Is the guy that I was sure I was going to grow up and marry, which we didn't, came back into my life. And what's that about is, for some people, yes, it's because you're drawn back together and you will go on. Yet for the majority of people, it is to remind them of the days in which they believed in love. They believed in all the potentials and possibilities of love, the innocence of and the purity of, before all of the adult baggage got attached to. And all of that, well, love takes away, love hurts, love breaks your heart, love does. Go back to that first love relationship, and it was wondrous, and it was full of potential. Everybody's energy's going up. You're thinking about it and you're going, oh, I was so young, I was so naive, and I was so, okay, it isn't necessarily naive. It's you believed in it. And there's what it's about. If you can believe in love, and your worthiness to receive love, the pure and divine love that is possible here in your human walk, then you will vibrate to that love, and it will attract in that isn't resonant to you. We understand the words are somewhat confusing today and moving in and out energetically. There is a new energy on earth, children. There is a new energy that is influencing your thoughts. It is not taking over. It is not something you have not asked for. You have been waiting for this, for you have set it about. It is so you will open the doorways of your heart. It is so that you send your love out, and then the love comes back. And so you are somewhat uncomfortable, and you do peer back over your shoulder and look at what you've experienced. But the knowing self, the self that lives inside of you, knows that this is only part of your experience. And in this experience, you have walked through that. It no longer is in your life or needs to be in your life. So it's time to open the doorways of your heart. Let the love shine from your eyes. Not be in fear of love, but let it be given from you to you and out from you to others. And see the person that is to be with you beside you now. Reclaim the life that has always been yours to have. And yes, we said reclaim. And there is a reason for that. For there have been lives in which you claimed it quite easily, for you knew it was the truth of all life. and that is as it is. So,
Okay, so let me read some comments. Michelle said it's a learning experience. Yes. And Juliana, that list sounds like one of my YouTube playlists. I've had both Accidentally in Love and Love Hurts. We can pick which songs to play.
Yep. And that's it. And, and the more you're very conscious of our own thoughts, our own beliefs, our own actions, our own reactions, and willing to change them, then the quicker all of this happens. So look back at that old song that plays over, and I grew up on country music. I still love country music, but it's that old, cry in your beer song. It's going to hurt is breaking my heart, tearing it apart. So, oh wait, that's a rock and roll song.
Doesn't matter.
Oh my gosh, this song, it was, gosh, that brings back some memories. I was sharing a place with my brother. I was 17 years old, and I can't even remember who sings this song, but it was, whatever it was, you're breaking my heart, you're tearing it apart, so F you. And I'm like, what? So, yeah, that isn't country western. Sometimes that's what you have to say so that you bring yourself back to you. But I keep having this come up, and so I'm going to put it out so it doesn't get lost somewhere along the show, and we say goodbye and it's just out in space. And yes, I already know the thought's gone out, even though I haven't said it, but I'd love to say this out loud. So for all of you and those of you with a partner, you can do the same. But for all of you who are without a partner this Valentine's Day, it is not sit at home and feel sad and blue and, oh my gosh, I'm unloved. Go buy yourself a Valentine, kind of like writing yourself that letter. If you like a box of chocolates, buy yourself a box of chocolates or flowers. Set up a dinner for yourself, by yourself or with friends. But bring the love back to you. It's a day. That day can stretch into a week. That week can stretch into a month. That month can stretch into a year. That year can stretch into a lifetime. In our society, Valentine's Day isn't as much about showing love as buying love. So do what's loving for you, what you would do for someone else to show love. And you can do it on Valentine's Day, and let that be the day you start and let it go forward. But heck, there's nothing saying you can't start with that today. So I think I'll send me flowers.
I want to make a comment because I have been married a long time to a wonderful man. He is, I call him the most wonderful man in the universe. But the romantic gestures is not something that he feels comfortable doing or thinks about. And so, many, we've been married 40 plus years. And many, many, many years ago, I would get upset if I didn't get flowers for Valentine's Day or this or that. And so I finally decided to just send them to myself if I wanted them. And because every day of the year I get tremendous love from this man. And the fact that he doesn't, we give each other cards and if we decide to do a dinner or something, we decide together. And I don't give him anything special. He doesn't give me anything special because we love each other so much every day of the year. And the cards, sometimes we keep them, and sometimes we just recycle ones that we really liked.
That makes sense.
And we have a little tradition about what's on the cards and blah blah blah. But it's not the big fancy expressions. That's not what love is.
And that's what I was saying is our society, Valentine's Day is about buying love. If you love somebody, you give them this big, expensive bouquet. You go out and buy them this jewelry, or you have to have this fancy dinner. Truthfully, I know David, Nancy's husband, and I see them together, and I would rather have that love all year long and have the agreements that suit, each other. It isn't that I don't like flowers. I do, but I saw one woman, her husband gave her a tree for Valentine's Day. To him, it had a lot of meaning. It's all about growth. She didn't understand it. Her response was to cut up all these clothes and throw them out in the yard. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But that was what that's, hey, prove to me you love me. Show me. And that's not his stuff. That was her stuff. She didn't feel lovable. She didn't feel deserving. And so, but I think a live plant's pretty, I don't know how romantic it is. If put it on a ribbon on it. Yeah, maybe a little heart hanging from it. That's kind of cute. But, my late husband, he did great at those mushy, lovey-dovey cards and Valentine's Day. And he'd bring a flower, send a flower. Guess who sucked at it? Me. I'd be at the last minute going, oh my God, I didn't get a card. Oh my gosh. And then I go out and find one silly or sometimes lovey, because most of them are too mushy for me. That doesn't suit my personality. Or he'd come in with a card and I'd have nothing. I don't remember him getting upset. I don't remember him saying, you don't love me because you didn't get me a card. Nope. But then I did things all year long. And I was the one who'd get cards or get something special on another day somewhere else. My grandmother was really big at that. It's like, why would I buy you Christmas presents? Because somebody says it's a day to buy you a present. I'll get you a present when I want to get you a present. She was kind of grouchy, and that is exactly how she said it.
Oh, we have another comment. Michelle says, celebrate loving yourself. When I was single, I would buy myself flowers and do what I wanted. Love yourself. I'm not single, and I still buy myself flowers when I want flowers. Yeah.
But look at now, she's not single, and she is happy in her relationship. How did she attract that in? By loving herself.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, yeah, you got to get that.
You know what? Here's the thing. I grew up in a Christian family, and I had a cousin that was a missionary, and they came and stayed with us once when I was in elementary school. And I remember them saying that God was they knew growing up that God was preparing their life partner, and so that they were both, growing so that they would meet each other at the right time, and God was getting this person ready. And so I believed that when from when I was a little kid, that the person that I was to be with was getting prepared to be with me, just like I was preparing to be. And that just became my belief system.
Yes, and so you didn't have to be within a religion to have that belief system. No. You just had the belief system. What happened in her life? When she was ready and David was ready, they came together, and they've been together 40 plus years. Because they were preparing for each other. That was the belief. That's what's going to create. That's what we're saying all the way around it. It doesn't have to be structured in a religious belief. It or a very strict structure, and it meeting this criteria, that one. It's knowing that you've been prepared and he or she's been prepared, and now you're together. And look at how you undermine yourself. Lately I've been doing that. I want somebody in my life to share my life, which I do. I can say it like that. I'm talking about myself. See, the funny voice don't come just for you guys. They come for me too. And so I attract somebody in, and then I'm sitting there going, well, yeah, and truthfully, they're lovely people. So I get to look at why, what's still there that I'm finding fault. Where's my fear? Where's my worry? Because it's really nothing that's theirs. This is all about me. And if you look to find fault with somebody or something, guess what's going to be right there? If you say, I want love, and you attract somebody in, then you pull all of your love energy inside of your body, guess what? Nothing to connect with. So you get a look at your own stuff. All of it's about looking at your own stuff. And you'll hear me for years talking about looking at your own stuff. And if you call somebody and they say, and you go, why isn't somebody here? And information starts coming, you go, well, I've already done that. Well, guess what? That information is coming up again, not because that person doesn't have anything better to say. It's because you're going through another layer of it. Revisit it. Go back to step one. And then see what you're feeling and what's there.
And I think we're going to get close to wrapping up here. Michelle had another comment that people are too focused on buying them something when they should be looking to their heart and accepting what they have to give from there, not a store. Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I do love buying gifts for people, yet it always starts with your heart. And, you know, for a Valentine's Day show, this sure sounded like a lecture. And it really is not meant to be. It's, like I said, the energy we're in is a break away and a breakdown of the old so that we attract in what supports us in this life. So that not only are we sending love out, like we're taught, it's better to give than to receive. We're starting with ourselves and sending that love in and really accepting, you know, that we're these amazing people and we deserve to be loved. And, you know, and we're not being defined any longer by what we were told because we've questioned it and it no longer serves us and opened the doorway of our hearts. And with that doorway open, it is able to live inside of us and it's able to go outside of us. And it is then attracting in a partner that doesn't live in fear. And we aren't recreating the old stuff again and again and again. We're complete there. And, you know, if we walk through the various areas of our life without fear, and accept ourselves 100%, well, guess what? The old fear energy falls away and our light burns brightly. That flame attracts a flame that is like yours or mine. And it doesn't have a certain look and doesn't necessarily come with flowers. Or maybe he picked a daisy along the way to bring you. Why? Because he liked the look of it and wanted to see you smile. Isn't that kind of fun? You know, it's so cute. It just made me think of this, you know, a grown man picking the daisy. I love that. It's like, oh. And then all of a sudden it showed me, you know, for many of us that are single have had children. And it shows the mother, you know, the little kid runs out into the yard and picks the dandelion and brings it to, well, they only pick the top of it, you know, because their little hands get it and it kind of slides up and it brings it to us. And we're so delighted and we go put it in and we make this big deal about it. And then the guy that we're with brings us a single daisy and it doesn't, what? Not a whole bouquet? Wouldn't it be fun to do the same? It's like, thank you. And make a big deal about it and put it in a cup of water or something. Or they do the same with us. It's the thought that counts, kiddos. The thought that counts.
And as we close today, Cherry, I just want to I feel like I'm giving a homework assignment, but I really do want us all to write that love letter to ourselves.
Yes.
And maybe even go and buy the Valentine that you want to get. Give yourself the Valentine that you would love to get.
Yes.
And write the love letter to yourself that you want to receive. because you deserve it, and you are loved, and you are love.
Yeah. Rob and I used to be in a store, and we'd be by the cards, picking whatever we were for whatever, and pick one up. This is the one I would give you.
That's what we do too. We do that too.
Oh goodness, we have some announcements. Let's see, I'm going to be at Wine and Wisdom Wednesday. It's on my webpage in Salem, Oregon. I believe it's 6 to 9, and I'm trying to think, it's the last Wednesday of the month, I'm pretty sure. So I will be there, and I'm the guest speaker. We are getting ready to start our group, and it's called Living Your Empowered Life. It is going to be a closed group and a membership. It will include 2 Zoom videos each month and then have a private Facebook page that we're on. This is for those people who are really willing to invest in themselves, willing to look deeply into themselves, and it's time to claim who you are. So we've got that going on, and
I'm creating a special welcome or sign up page. It's not done yet, but you'll get the link. It'll be on our Facebook page, and I will share that in email and on Facebook quite a lot. So we're going to be starting our first Zoom live meeting of this program on the 21st of this month.
Oh, I'm going to add one more thing to this, attracting in a new love. If you're holding on to that old love, nobody new can come in. Just saying. Somebody else came to my mind, and it's like and this person's still right there in their life, in the peripheral, and over here, the peripherals over here. Anyway, so if that energy doesn't allow somebody else to come in, just saying. Just
All
say
right.
it.
Final comments from folks. Let's see. Amazing show. Thank you, Terry and Nancy. You both are truly wonderful. I love that. Thank you so much, Shell. You're pretty wonderful yourself. Juliana, imagine a shower of little hearts instead of water. First,
I love that.
We get our fill, and the rest is available to spill over onto others. Juliana, it's brilliant.
Well, like I said, she is a manifester to the extreme. It's like I just take notes.
Excellent. And so I put on the screen, if you are wanting more in-depth about your own personal situation, of course, you can always schedule a one-on-one session with Cherry.
And for the Valentine's, I did a flash sale because a lot of people, because on this show, I can only go over the surface, because a lot of your stuff is just that, your stuff, and it's very personal. And you don't want everybody around the world hearing what's extremely personal to you. And so until the 13th or through the 13th, it's 10 minutes for $20. And we Zoom focus on what it is important to you in that 10 minutes. So that's a special thing. Send me an email or call me and set something up. And then that way we get a little deeper. We're able to, remove another layer.
Because we're all onions.
I know. Is there anything else? I'm not an onion. Well, I do like onions, but I keep thinking, I like, I like, we're all roses. You know how there's one petal that comes off? And then another petal or opens. I kind of like that for today. And there's other flowers that there's a whole bunch of petals. And they're opening one by one by one.
There you go. That's a good image to stop. Next week we will have a Q&A. So get your questions, think of your questions, and you can start posting them when I get that graphic on the page. And we look forward to seeing you again next week.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Oh, Juliana said parfaits have layers. Oh, I'm going after my own heart.
There we go. So thank you for joining us. I love all of you so much. Have a wonderful week, a wonderful month, a wonderful year, and a wonderful life.